everyone, this is Ryan, and today I'm going to be going over my learning manifesto, which is supposed to be something that articulates my belief system instead of guiding principles as it relates to digital learning and leading in my chosen field. So I will attempt, to articulate all of this as well as I can. However, I'm not 100% certain about my position on all of these points, but I will try and do my best. So let's get started. Okay, so the first point asked me to consider what I am truly passionate about. And in short, the short answer to that is I really don't know. I hate this question because it's one that I've been struggling with since high school, when that whole time when you have to start thinking about like what you have to want to do with your life, and in my head that's always very closely associated with what are you truly passionate about, because how the conversation always goes is so what do you want to do with your life, and I'll say, oh, I'm not sure, and they'll say, well, what are you passionate about, and I'll just go, oh, I'm not sure about that either. And so that's the short answer, is that I really don't know, but whenever I think about it in terms of, okay, well, what do you want to do with your life? Because, like I said before, in my head, those two questions are closely connected. I have a little bit of a better idea. I wrote some stuff down. Whenever I think about, like, my dream job, I don't have, like, one specific job that pops into my head. But I do have, like, a list of characteristics that I would like my dream job to have, and that's, I want it to be challenging. I want it to allow me to help others, because I love volunteering. I volunteer a lot. I wouldn't go so far as say I'm passionate about volunteering, but, I do like thinking of myself as kind of that superhero that's, like saving the world just a little bit. I would like to have a job that would let me solve problems. I love puzzles. I love like figuring out kind of how things work, and so I would like a job that would let me do that. And, I want something that'll let me utilize my talents, the skills that I've developed in college, because of course, why else am I going to college to develop these skills if I don't get to use them? And yeah, something that will, I also included something that'll allow me to kind of make new connections, I guess, or allow me to look at information in new ways. So just something that'll help me to, I guess, broaden my horizons, like let me look at things in a different way. So stuff like that. So for this next point, I'm going to talk about my core beliefs about learning, and by extension digital learning. So simply put, I believe that learning should be a process, or a work in progress. I've always been a very perfectionistic type of person. I always have been focused in the past, because I've been trying to kind of change this mindset that I've been more of an all or nothing type of person, because in my mind, if you can't do it perfect, if you can't do it right, then what's the point in doing it at all? So that's kind of how I've always thought of things, and I know from self-reflection that this has limited me, because it's like, why am I going to try something that I could possibly fail at? So it's been very difficult for me to change that mindset. But that's something I've been trying to do, and I've been trying to think of things not so much as all or nothing, and trying not to focus so much on the end result as far as focusing on the process, and thinking of things more as a work in progress or a practice. Something that I learned that I think perfectly demonstrates this is I've been watching some online yoga videos on YouTube, and one of the ladies that I really enjoy watching, she likes to say, we don't come to the mat to do yoga, we come to the mat to practice yoga. And I think that really perfectly sums up that whole idea of thinking of learning and thinking of life in general as a process, as a practice, because it's much more inviting to failure, and you really do have to fail at something before you can get better and before you can improve. It's very necessary. This is also particularly important in as far as digital learning, because it's a field that changes all the time. There's always new advancements in technology, so it's something that requires constant learning, and you have to not be afraid to fail. And I think having this kind of mindset and thinking of things more as a process can be very beneficial towards that. So that's what I think about learning in general. So, my final point states for me to identify what I think are emerging issues related to digital learning and leading at the state, regional, national, and/or global context. So, whenever I think of digital learning, and just technology in general, the biggest benefit that I think of is just the flexibility that comes with it, because you're able to work or you're able to learn, when in an online class, for example, from anywhere in the world at any time, pretty much, which is incredible. It's really incredible, and especially as someone going into the field of business, which is one of the things that I hear that is talked about in every single one of my business courses, is how global the field of business is becoming. It's really great. It's really incredible to learn about this. For example, when I was interning for an internship position last spring, one of the audit partners that I was talking with was telling me about this project that he was working on with a partner firm in India. And basically, him and his team would work on the project during the day, and then while they were sleeping, the partner firm in India would work on the project during the night. And so the project was able to get done twice as fast without any added inconvenience to any of the people working on it. And it was all due to technology that they were able to accomplish this. So it's pretty incredible. In the audit field, which is what I'm going to be interning in next spring, and hopefully working in at least some, utilizes a lot of technology, and it's the firm that I'm working at. They're constantly developing new technology that helps with this and really helps to, for the most part, like cut out some of the more tedious tasks that auditors may have to do, and help really frees up the time for the auditors to use on more important and more material matters. So yeah, it's very important. However, this can kind of be a double-edged sword, in my opinion, because if you have the flexibility to always be working, then you also run the risk of just always working. If you're always able to answer emails or edit documents or do presentations or whatever, then it seems like it's very easy to always kind of be working, because you don't have the physical boundaries that we had. We don't have the physical boundaries that we had in the past to kind of prevent us from working. In the past, when you left the office, then okay, that was it. You can't work, and so you were able to have that time off. You were able to have that time away to kind of do other things and to like refresh your mind, I guess. And you can't really do that now because you're always plugged in. And I think for companies, that's a big topic, is how do they set boundaries? How do we set boundaries to keep employees from getting overworked? Because it can be very easily, as someone who's an achiever, I know like the emotional and physical tolls that can take from always being plugged in and from always working, and I think that that's definitely an issue that firms need to address and see about settling. So yeah, that's about it. I've covered everything I needed to cover, and thank you very much for watching and making it to the end. Good night.